you're ready, man. Good morning, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world. You've tuned in to the Mac City Morning Show. I am your host, Elliot Pierre, and we're going to start this episode off the same way we start every episode off, with a moment of gratitude. I know that you could be doing a million other things with your time, and the fact that you spend it with us truly does mean the world to me. So thank you. On that note, Tanner, hit him with the intro.
How's she caught me, loves? You're listening to the Mac City Morning Show.
Hey everybody, Keith Simpson here from Norel Toyota. Just a quick chat about the wonderful community we live in here. As you guys know, we support the Oil Barons. We've joined the drive-in movie theater. We're involved in the marathon here in Fort McMurray, and make sure we're taking care of the kids and all the local businesses, all the local charities, and all the local foundations, guys. That's what makes this community such an amazing place to live.
And we are back. Big shout out to Norel Toyota, our title sponsor for today's episode. Thank you for your ongoing support. As you guys know, I don't introduce my guests because they can do a better job of that than myself. So can you please tell everybody at home who you are and what you're about?
Sharon Heading. I am Partnerships Manager with Arts Council Wood Buffalo. I'm all about art.
There we go. And you also were all about traveling on a flight down to Tucson, the inaugural flight that I and my Tanner was on as well.
I and my Tanner,
yeah. We were on that flight as well. We had a great time in Tucson. We bumped into you a few times. So I wanted you to come on the show to talk a little bit about that trip before we get off into the randomness of I know where this conversation is going. How was your time in Tucson?
It was fabulous. For me, it was all about the arts.
Okay.
I went with my boss, Leanna Wilden, and we're building an art center here in Fort McMurray, an arts incubator. So we know that the arts are thriving in Tucson. So we wanted to see what they're doing that we can learn from.
Right.
What ideas maybe we had that weren't so smart because they weren't working someplace else, or what were the things that they were doing that we hadn't even thought of.
Right.
So they embrace and support their local artists, which was fabulous.
They really do. They support everything local in Tucson.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Artists, food, you name it. They're just like, yeah.
Yeah, it was, well, we ran into a couple of times. I think you were of the same mindset that we were.
Yeah.
We stayed in a local Airbnb, so we could walk. I think the longest we had to walk was 18 minutes to the courthouse, the historic courthouse for one of the celebrations.
You must have been staying like right near us then, because that's about the same for us. It took us about 20 minutes to walk to that little cafe near the court shop.
Yeah.
It was a great location.
Yeah.
We could walk to, I want to say north because in my mind it was north, but who knows? But, we could walk to the university campus, which was stunning, which took us through the student district. We could walk down to the courthouse, to the arts area where we ran into all those little shops and fabulous setup where, I thrifted some things. I bought some
I'm
things.
wearing it right now. I that's why for these episodes I decided to dress in my Tucson gear. But yeah,
exactly. I did. To our Christmas party, I wore a fabulous, I think I might even have owned it in the 1970s, but this fabulous outfit that I got in a little thrift store there. We went to art supply stores. We went to galleries, checked out the local artists, found really fun little coffee shops. And it was, I found the people super welcoming. It was, the temperature was right. I live in the cold. I'm not afraid to live in the cold. I love it, but it was nice to have a little break.
That's right.
Fabulous location, great people, quick flight.
Yeah.
And for us, that we did everything we set out to do, which was to really explore how they make the arts and culture a really big part of what they do.
Yeah. Well, I found when we were there, because we walked the whole time. Just walked and we tried to get into every little store.
Us too.
And what I found is like you'd go into a store that was selling, I don't know, clothes, for example. And when you were talking to their staff, everybody was super friendly, and like we let them know where we were from. Yeah. And then like they would chat with you, but they'd say like, "Oh yeah, like that painting on the wall is from a local artist." So although like their clothes may not be from Tucson, they had a painting or a picture on a wall which was from a local artist. Or they had like jewelry that fit the vibe of whatever they're selling, and that was a local artist. Or we went to a number of different restaurants, and they were telling us about like how like they weren't using flour, they were using corn from a local farmer. And so no matter what kind of store you went into, maybe retail, restaurant, art, there was some form of supporting local tied into that store or establishment, which was really, really interesting to see.
I know I think we're very good at that here in Fort McMurray. Vocal about local, supporting our. I mean, we're on a bit of an island here. Really, we're just in trees instead of water.
That's right.
So we're really smart, I think, about that, and we can be even smarter about it.
Yeah.
But I think if there's ever a lesson to be learned, I mean, they're not in that isolated situation, but they're very smart. And like I said, everywhere you went, there was something. Now, I mean, obviously, we were looking for that. So,
That's right.
So that's what we were going to find, but it didn't disappoint.
No.
Didn't disappoint
And it
at
wasn't
all.
hard to find at all.
That's right.
You couldn't throw a stone around there without hitting something fun to do.
No, it was fabulous. It was just right.
What we noticed, and I've been bragging about it since I came back, is we were in this roughly the same area as you, it sounds like. And what we recognized was that outside of the cutest Dairy Queen on the planet, like old school, I don't know if you walked by the Dairy
We
Queen.
saw it, yeah. I saw
Oh
it.
my gosh, what a throwback to the 70s. Outside of that, we did not see another chain restaurant.
We didn't see another chain store.
That's right.
Like not
In the
a
whole-
restaurant, not a business, not a cafe, nothing.
We saw one Starbucks.
Yeah.
That was it, up by the university.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it was
Yeah.
true. Now, there were certainly their chains like Charo and those kinds of places where we ate there.
Yeah,
but,
El Charro, but that's local to
to Tucson.
To Tucson.
Exactly.
And there
That's
was
what I mean.
McDonald's and Sonic,
But-
and they had it, but it was all so far away from.
It wasn't in the downtown
Yeah.
core, because like I love fast food. I love all type of food. But like we were looking, okay, like we wanted to go to In-N-Out Burger, which we got to. We wanted to go to McDonald's, which we didn't make it this time. But
Popeyes.
Popeyes, yeah. But they were on the outskirts, which I thought was
Absolutely.
such a cool concept in regards to they really wanted to support like local shops and owners
One of the people
in the city core.
One of the people from like the Tucson, like that we met, one of the directors or somebody like that, was telling me that Starbucks actually tried to open a store
Yeah.
in their downtown core
Right.
on 4th Street.
Yeah.
And all of the businesses on 4th Street said, absolutely not. You're not opening your chain coffee shop downstairs or downtown when we have 6 wonderful places to get coffee in walking distance of there. If you want to open a Starbucks, open it somewhere else in town. And they boycotted the Starbucks and it never opened.
Interesting.
Yeah.
When we were headed towards the university, there was an art supply store there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
there was a courtyard, and it was what we thought initially
Okay.
was part of like a condo complex, because
Okay.
that's what it looked like. That it,
Right,
it-
right.
And I was thinking, oh, is this kind of a neat seniors idea,
Yeah,
or is
yeah.
it student living or whatever? But it was, in fact, what had been some kind of a living situation, but it was turned in each little former apartment, condo, whatever it was
Yeah.
turned into a restaurant or a shop, and then the center courtyard, people were having their lunch.
Oh, neat.
There was, we spent some time in there.
Yeah.
It was really, and it was fun, funky
Yeah.
little shops, and
Yeah.
it was right off the street on your way to the university. So you could feel like you were part of that vibe.
That's
but
right.
You weren't right out on the street.
That's right. Yeah, no, there's so many like little gems. Like we literally were maybe 2 to 3 block walk away from campus. So like we were able to walk through and check
Yeah.
it out. But we've like the place we found you was really cool. Like that I forget Artisans. I
Yeah.
forget what the title is.
We have a video coming
We have a
out.
video coming up. You'll see it. But it was really neat with all the little shops there. And then there
I
was
got these earrings there.
nice.
Yeah.
Then there was a really cool place that we found to eat and drink matcha tea called Time Market.
Oh, I didn't see
Oh,
that.
wow. It was the best.
We got the Dave Portnoy special.
That's right. So
Yeah.
the reason we went there is because Dave Portnoy, hopefully I pronounced his name right, he does a show called
One Bite Reviews.
One Bite Reviews, where he reviews pizza.
Oh, nice.
So he takes a few bites of the pizza, reviews it. So we're like, okay. And the pizza got a good ranking. But then they have a chocolate chip cookie, and he like ranked it off the charts. He's like, this chocolate chip cookie is the best thing I've ever had in my life.
And that is the Dave Portnoy special, is a slice of pizza and a chocolate chip cookie.
How
And
can you go
so
wrong? How
we
can
went
you
and
go
we
wrong?
found it, and it was like in walking distance. And to say it was the best chocolate chip cookie I've ever had is an understatement.
Yeah, like
Wow.
Yeah.
you might not agree with the pizza rating because everybody got a different way they like their pizza.
That's right.
but like I don't like crunchy cookies, and this thing was crunchy on the outside, soft on the inside. It was like the chocolate was still melted, but it wasn't fresh, but it was still
Yeah,
great.
it was
Like
so good.
Whoa.
And then they made like I'm a big fan of matcha tea, and like
Yeah.
they made it and very traditionally, like in front of me. It was like there's so many different gems that we stumbled upon in
no
Tucson.
pun intended, hey?
That's right.
Yeah. I had probably, I'm from the East Coast, like, 40%
What part of the East Coast?
Cape Breton Island.
Okay. All right.
So I'm a big fish fan.
Yeah.
And I had, and probably one of my favorite fish is steelhead trout.
Okay.
And I had truly, hands down, the best steelhead trout I've ever had in my life.
Really?
As a matter of fact, we were sitting outside, and being the Canadians where they kept pointing the heaters at us, and we kept
Right.
saying,
Like, yeah, no, thank you. Yeah,
"Put
we're
them
good.
away," and people
Yeah.
were walking by with puffy coats and looking
Yeah.
at us, but we were so comfortable, and we had, I think Leanna had salmon, and we both had fish.
Yeah.
So I'm not leaving Alberta to have beef.
That's right. That's
Like,
exactly it.
So I wish, I'm a foodie, as you know.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out exactly what the spices were.
Yeah.
And the pile of like asparagus and charged vegetables and stuff on top of it
Yeah.
was I'm not kidding, hands down the best steelhead trout I've ever had.
That's
I still
awesome.
think I'm still trying to figure out what that mix of stuff was so I can
Yeah.
repeat it myself.
Yeah.
So very good.
That's awesome.
Knowing Tucson, it was probably like a bunch of herbs that were grown in some guy's backyard, and the fish was probably caught like yesterday. And
Yeah.
It sure felt that way.
Yeah,
It was
no,
really
they nailed
good.
it. But listen, Tanner's ready with his questions for the Mac City Minute. But before we start that, another Cape Breton local, but local to Fort McMurray now, Carrie from Patchouli Rose has an ad. Tanner, let's see Carrie's ad.
Hi, it's Carrie with Patchouli Rose Herbal Apothecary. I know our summer is coming quickly to an end. And during the summer, we always think of applying our sunscreen, but sunscreen is a product that we should be using every day of the year to protect our skin against harmful UVA and UVB rays, also against premature aging. I have a product called Dandelion Harvest, which is moisturizing, anti-inflammatory, and is great for anti-aging. You can use this every day of the year, and it's very moisturizing. If you want to check this product and any of my other products out, please go to patchoulirose.com.
And we are back. Thank you, Carrie from Patchouli Rose. Appreciate your ongoing support. Tanner, hit her with the Mac City Minute.
alrighty, question number 1 for you today. What is one piece of art that inspires you the most?
Actually, it's a super easy one. I look at it every morning when I get up. When I was about 5 years old, back in Cape Breton, we had a lady living with us. One of those things you don't question when you were a kid. Why is this person living with you?
Yeah.
And she was a friend of my parents, an incredible artist.
Okay.
And we were at an old homestead that my grandparents had up in way out in the country. A lot of people there only spoke Gaelic. And we were sitting looking over Lake
Gaelic?
Ames. Yeah, old Scottish area. And my grandparents had land there when they came. They bought land there. And it was on Lake Ainslie. There is Loch Lomond for Cape Bretoners.
Yeah.
And the sun was going down. We were waiting for my dad coming back from fishing. And this lady had a piece of butcher paper, like
Yeah.
just butcher paper, and some oil pastels. And she quickly, she quickly sketched
Yeah.
the sunset. So there's the rolling hill and the lake in the background
Yeah.
and the spruce trees and the old broken down fence. Just a simple pastoral thing.
Yeah.
And the sunset. And I remember thinking at the time, one, it was like magic.
Yeah.
Like this woman had what to me was kind of crayons and this piece of brown paper. And she
Right.
made this beautiful thing. And her name was Jean Jock. I found out later she did all of the art that's at at Louisburg in Cape Breton, all of the pieces on the wall.
Right.
Anyway, I remember looking at it and thinking, I'm going to do that one day.
Yeah.
And my mom gave me the piece for Christmas years ago before she passed. So I put it
Oh,
so
beautiful.
that it's the first thing I see when I get up in the morning.
That's awesome. Good story.
Question number 2. What is one TV show you watched growing up that you wish still existed?
Oh, wow. That's a tough one. TV was a big deal. I mean, I was
was a
the
big
channel
deal.
changer.
Okay.
I'll tell my age a little bit. There was like 3 stations. You know what? I really wish there were only 6 hockey teams again and I could sit and watch hockey with my dad.
There you go. Good answer.
Question number 3. What is one art form that people would be surprised to know you like?
Wow. Since I like all art,
Mm-hmm.
that's probably a tough one because I don't know if someone would be shocked by anything I liked because I'm very partial to sculptures,
Okay.
outside sculpture, but I don't think anyone would be shocked by that. I like unrealistic things, fantasy,
Okay.
that kind of stuff.
Nice.
Question number 4. What is one place or store in Tucson you think everyone who goes should experience?
That's easy. That little art center that we went to it was like going from, it was like you'd been let loose in an old house and every room had something new to explore. And
Yep.
then you popped out in this courtyard where
Yep.
there was a record store and a proper restaurant or a food truck. I mean,
That's
there
right.
was just such a fabulous place. Plus, there was a bunch of vintage stuff there.
Yep.
Though it's a sad statement when what they're calling vintage is basically what I wore in university.
That's
There
right.
you go.
I'm going to find that store's name right now.
Yeah, it was...
I got it on my phone.
Okay.
Yep.
And your final question. What do you think is the most underrated place to get food in Fort McMurray?
Holy crap. That's a tough one.
I-
Underrated in
I missed
Fort
it. What was
McMurray?
the question?
What do you think is the most underrated place to get food in Fort McMurray?
There's a place not that far down, 2 streets down from Keano, Ethiopian and African food. Mary, I forget the name of it. You'd probably describe it as a hole in the wall.
Okay.
But man, rice and chicken, rice and meat.
Yeah.
That's a great little spot.
There we go.
Zimbabwe?
No, it starts with an M.
Mike Bob?
Yes, that's it.
There we go.
Great spot.
Those have been your 5 questions.
The place in Tucson that you're talking about is called Old Town Artisan.
Exactly.
Old Town
Exactly.
Artisan. Yeah, it was really nice. And stay tuned for the video. I think we did interview a local shop owner there.
You
He-
were interviewing when we passed through.
Yeah, he was a indigenous local shop owner. He was a
Yeah,
was
we
a
weren't
gem.
really sure because you were
Native.
behind the counter. Who was working there?
Yeah.
He prefers natives.
Native.
Yeah, he does.
I remember hearing
He does.
that.
Yeah.
He's just like, I am Native American. So like, can you call me Native American? I was like,
Whatever
listen,
you like.
whatever you want me to call you, bro. Once you're giving me the permission to say it, I'll say it. So
Yeah, exactly right.
he was so cool. Such a lovely guy.
Yeah,
So,
he was probably the easiest person we convinced to film down there.
and I was not expecting, like, everybody was easy to film. Like, everybody, as soon as we said, hey, you want to film a podcast? You're like, sure. But he was one guy that I was like, there's no way he's going to say yes. And he was like,
Yep.
I'd love to. Like,
He
can we
was
do
the
it
only,
right now?
Yeah, he was the only guy who didn't ask follow-up questions.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
We're good. We're like, do you have to run your store right now? He's like, nah, I'll film.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, he was a cool guy. The whole vibe of Tucson was just really cool. I can't wait to go back. We're planning another trip in February. We don't know when, though.
Nice.
But we found out, like, while we were down there, we found out there's the biggest crystal rock and gem show in the world that happens in February. But then we were just chatting with Mike Jones, and it turns out that Super Bowl is happening, and it's being hosted, not in Tucson, but like an hour down the road from Tucson in February also. So now I got to really think about what
That's
dates
like
I want to go down there.
Like that whole second part is like
Yeah, snooze to you. But the party scene,
but
like,
the
and the story, like, listen,
gemstone. Like as an artist, that's
Yeah.
interesting. because
well,
I
it's the
do
biggest
jewelry.
crystal and gems show in the world, and like it's a 11-day thing where like you can't go anywhere without seeing them. People set up their shops in parking lots and everything, and they're in like the stadiums and whatnot, so they have like the bigger shows, and there's concerts and everything around it. But I guess like no matter where you go, there are crystals and gems and stones everywhere. But the price point, and Tanner's getting a little bit nervous because I haven't like settled on a date yet, but I guess like Airbnbs and hotels like just go
It'll be the crazy
through
time.
the roof.
They go through the roof, and that's if you can find them, right? Like they book up there so quickly for the event that like you need to be getting your stuff in December now so that you can even get anything down there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Now-
By the way, Super Bowl tickets $7,000 right now.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, that's next week's budget.
Yeah.
yeah.
I was told by so I have staff in Fort Chip,
Yeah.
Indigenous staff, rural art support. These
Yeah.
are Indigenous staff who work in the arts community,
Right.
who were really disappointed I didn't give them more advance time, because I guess some of the best beads. So if you're
Oh,
a beader, that some of the
yeah.
best beads around that I should have been looking for beading stores while I was in Tucson, and fabric stores. So
My
that'll
uncle,
be my next trip.
my uncle is a paleontologist, and he goes to the Tucson Rock and Gem show because they sell dinosaur fossils, they sell beads, they sell like anything that has to do with a rock that was in the ground 1,000 million years ago. They sell at this show.
Wow.
Biggest in the world. Like, and we were chatting with.
I feel there's a podcast coming.
Oh yeah, like
Hopefully.
hopefully, like we're thinking so.
Bring your tent.
That's right. Yeah, Tucson was amazing, and like I think it's something like that. Like I don't have any on this morning, but I usually wear crystals and gems. Cool to like see that in full effect. And they said it's like it's a global thing. China and Dubai, and like if you are, this is like all the whole the mines, like everything. This is
Paleontology.
Yeah.
Like paleontologists looking for rocks that they can break open and find special. You're into like people who do like beaches and stuff, hands and whatnot. Like, it's crazy.
supposedly supposed to be really cool.
I found out something. Bird watcher.
Okay.
You've been to my house.
Yeah.
There's woodpeckers that come to our backyard.
Right.
And after the wildfire, one picture a fire.
Yeah.
So we're big. It's kind of nerdy, but it's fun. So I happened to notice those cactus. Excuse me, the ones, the typical
Serenia.
sort of
The Serenia cactuses.
So we learned that, of course, they're only in the lowlands, not in the highlands,
Right.
that they're protected, all that sort of thing. But I started noticing holes in them,
Yeah.
like these holes. And
Birds.
so I started asking, thinking,
Yeah.
well, of course, imagining that was birds,
Mm-hmm.
to discover that they are inhabited by miniature owls, pygmy
Oh.
owls, and that the holes are dug by woodpeckers. I went down, a research hole that lasted a while. But apparently the woodpeckers dig out the holes.
Yeah.
And then these little pygmy owls, which are actually raptors, I guess they're quite vicious,
Okay.
live in these little holes. So now my next trip to Tucson, I'm obsessed with finding a little pygmy owl I can look at.
Fascinating.
How cool is that?
That's so cool.
Hopefully it doesn't terrorize you.
Yeah. So listen, Tanner hit his watch, so that means we're out of time. But thank you very much for coming today.
welcome.
Can't wait to have you back again and again and again. But before I cut you loose today, everybody gets a shameless shout out or plug. So you have the mic, the camera, the lights. Have fun.
Oh, absolutely. Arts Council Wood Buffalo, the Arts Incubator in the former cinema on Manning. We take possession today. Probably as I'm speaking, Leanna's getting the keys. We'll be in the process of turning that into a very special place with a lot of exciting things happening in downtown. It will be the heart of downtown revitalization. Join us. As I used to say to my mom when I was in college, don't write, send money.
That's awesome. There you go. Well, once again, thank you for coming on. I like how you signed off. That's fantastic. For McMurray, Wood Buffalo, the rest of the world, that's been another episode of the Mac City Morning Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Big shout out to our title sponsor, Noral Toyota, as well as Carrie from Patchouli Rose. We do appreciate your guys' ongoing support. I hope everybody at home is having a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.